Hi, so this is quite new. This is something that's quite personal that I really want to share with you all. And it's something that's very fascinating in my life, in my lineage. I met this person when I was 7 months old. I've known this person throughout my entire life. I look exactly like this person. Every time I visit Nigeria, where my parents are originally from, I always visit her and spend time with her. But only as of late have I become overly fascinated, shocked, overwhelmed, grateful and happy to say that I have a grandma who's 107 years old.
Ọmọ ọgọ́rùn-ún ọdún àtọdún méje ọdún kẹrìndínlógún lẹ́jọ́ ní àyàwó mi ìyá mi jáde láyé ó di 30 ọjọ́ àtijọ́ kan ní mo tó bímọ. Ntọ́ yẹ kó ṣe ni wípé kọ́mọ̀ mú tó bá ní tí ọba mú tó bá ń tó bá ṣe pé bí àwọn mẹ́rin bí àwọn méjì ní ẹ bá bímọ fún ibi parí ọkà ńgbà parí ọkà ló bá wá lé wọn jáde àtọmọ.
So it's super interesting because, again, it just sounds like a surreal and different world to me, where it's a norm for a man to have 8 wives. I know polygamy is a very big thing in a Muslim community. My grandmother is a Muslim. So her using this example of a man who married 8 wives and because he couldn't provide for them decided to steal, she's used that as a life lesson to say that we shouldn't go beyond our boundaries is excellent. We shouldn't go beyond our boundaries. We shouldn't spend more than our means. We shouldn't try and force a lifestyle that we don't have, because that's just not how life works. You can't continuously pretend to not be who you are. We have to face reality, and we have to remember that life is a journey. And I think that's an excellent life lesson to don't live beyond your means. Just enjoy being you and becoming a better you.
Màrán wo ni mo fẹ́ fún torí wípé ńkọ́ ìyá mi tó bí mi ó ṣe ìyá gidi fún mi ṣùgbọ́n ń bímọ bá bí Ọlọ́run bá wá wípé kí eléyìí kó bímọ ní ìṣẹ́jú mi.
And that was really emotional just to hear her say that, because I'm 23 and from as little as I can remember I've always sort of planned my wedding. And there's 2 emotions that I fall in. Of course, it will be my dream to have my grandmother at my wedding. I would, by force, have her join my dad and walking me down the aisle or make some sort of arrangement. But I refuse to be pressurized by it, because I find that in my generation, there is a lot of pressure to get married and things aren't as easy as they were in my grandmother's generation, in my mother's generation, where in your earliest of 20s, you were married and you were expecting your first kid. And that's something that I actually dreamt about a lot when I was younger. But I think being a millennial, we're just selfish and we just want to get our life before we become a wife, as Beyonce once said. So as much as that would be my dream to give that to my grandma, it's so important to remember that I'm also living my life for me as well.
Bàárí ni gbà tí Adélábù tọ́jọba ìyàtọ̀ bá gbogbo nǹkan ó tẹ́ àlọ́rùn gbà náà gbà Adélábù kò fi tó nǹkan tó fi di pé ó fi jáde láyé Adélábù pẹ̀ǹkẹ́lẹ́. Ìgbà rẹ̀ rọ̀ àlọ́run o ṣùgbọ́n àlódé nìkan lọ́ba di yá.
Again, just hearing Grandma, Mama, as I call her, speak about a peaceful president, a peaceful Nigeria, where trade workers actually make money, profit, are able to fend for their families, where there's no, animosity or any violence happening amongst one another, it almost seems like a different world to me almost. I find it hard to believe that this is something that existed because as we see in current news, there's so much distraction, there's so much, just sadness around the world. Every single day we're bombarded with images. I don't think in my 23 years of living have I ever read a peaceful headline about a country. So just knowing that this country, Nigeria, had a happy political system for a year it's great, it's refreshing, but it's almost hard to believe considering the kind of political system we have now and the kind of lives that people have to live just to get by. There's a really strong, business-minded community in several parts of Nigeria where people want to build their own business, but they don't have any support, they don't have any funding. There's not really much support for people that generally want to build the economy of Nigeria, whereas during this time that Mama has discussed, it was a time where people were celebrated. It was a very meritocratic society where you work hard and you do reap your rewards. So it's really, really sad to see that that is nowhere near the case now in 2017, only 60 years after this perfect political system that she described. My grandma being very traditional in the sense that it's a complete norm for a Muslim man to have many wives. She was also quite logical, so I think that's why she established that with her husband, my late grandfather, that I am yours and you are mine. I don't want any more drama. I don't want to be a second or a third wife. I don't want you to go into unnecessary depth. So if you're with me, you're with me. So I respect that about her.
Ẹni lọ́ta yín lóbìnrin torí obìnrin mi ó ń ṣe tánàjì fọ́kọ ẹ̀. Mi ò lówó òdì ṣírí Ọlọ́run mọ bọ́ ọ̀jẹ́. Arọ́mọdọ́mọ tèmi tó bá jóbìn Ọlọ́run ọba ò ní jẹ́ kọ́rẹ́ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ òdì tí ọkọ wípé bí o ti máa ṣe sọ́kọ ẹ̀ nì kó náà má kọ.
Again, this is another thing that just has surprised me again, and it makes me love my grandmother, Mama, even more, because lots of people would say, oh, what would I like to leave behind? I want to write a book. I want to own property. But she teaches us to essentially love each other. And she bases a lot of that on marriage, because in the 21st century, marriage has just been blown out of proportion, not taken seriously, and even mocked. But is essentially about two people loving each other, so much so that they will sacrifice for each other. They unify, the two become one. It's so beautiful the way that she talks about this, and it's the fact that she just bases that on one person loving another. That's the only thing that she said, this is what I want to leave behind. Be one voice, unite, make sure you have an understanding with each other. Love each other deeply through the good and through the bad. I think that's just a really beautiful thing to teach people, just to love each other, because as easy as it sounds, I feel like our world needs it more than ever right now. There's two people that, I don't know, just really care about each other, but because of their circumstances feel like they can't work. But I believe in blessings, and I believe that love is something that is just probably the greatest emotion over human race, and it's one of the greatest things that you could leave behind on this earth.
Mama, bye. Bye.